Today, I'm going to cover the biggest mistakes people make when learning the one arm handstand. I'm talking from experience. These are mistakes that I've made, things that I wish I'd changed about my training. Let's jump straight in. So, the big one is training outside your ability. So, most people will play outside beyond where they should be in terms of their training. So, it might be starting the one arm handstand too early. So, your two arm handstand isn't strong enough. So, you start spending loads of time working on the one arm handstand. It might be going to one finger assist when you really need to be five finger assist, or maybe you just need to be working on your weight shift. So a good way of looking at this is a certain percentage of your training should be play, and then a certain percentage of your training should be reps and sets of quality work. Now, the reps and sets of quality work, a good way of doing this for the one arm handstand progressions is what can you hold for 10 seconds? So can I hold with a weight shift? Can I look over to one hand? Can I move the head? Can I focus on just taking some weight onto that side? Start to make this hand lighter and then hold there for 10 seconds. If you can do that comfortably, you then go up to fingertips, go fingers out, go to one finger, lift the hand up. But can you hold those for 5 to 10 seconds consistently? Whichever level you can do on that, I'd call that your working sets towards the one arm handstand. I'm not going to go in detail into technique and stuff. There's lots of different techniques on the one arm handstand, but in terms of working at your level, your correct level, that's a good guide to have. 5 to 10 seconds, quality reps, returning back to the handstand. And then there'll be another percentage of your training. You might not even call it training, you can just call it play. So once a good way of doing it is once you get the quality reps and sets done, then have a percentage of your training that's play. And that might be where you throw your hand up, that might be where you go in positions that are beyond where you normally train. Okay, the next big one is not enough push. So you'll commonly hear people when they're critiquing or giving feedback or teaching one-arm handstands that they just say push, 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 push. This is a big one. So most people, when they transfer weight, they'll move to the side. They won't have enough push. So this push, see how this all becomes one? This is what we're talking about. So this connection here, this is what we want in the one-arm handstand. In handstands in general, we want to have a push, but you can get away with being a little bit more relaxed in a two-arm handstand. It's like if you imagine that I had a barbell or a dumbbell in my hand and I have it above my head, I'm not going to hold like a 50K dumbbell like this. I'm going to be pushing it the whole time and make all this rigid and part of the one segment that we need to balance. So that's what we want to have in the one arm handstand. So if you watch most people when they're learning the one arm handstand, they'll be collapsed a little bit. So that push is so, so important. So you can fix a lot of things with that as well. Okay, training the strong side only. This is a really common one. This is what I definitely done. I've had a niggly left shoulder. I'm actually left-handed, but my right one-arm handstand, the best I can hold here, my longest hold is 53, 54 seconds on my right side. My longest one-arm handstand on my left is like 22. So there's a massive difference between my left and my right. The consistency on my right is much more. My left shoulder does niggle me occasionally. It's niggled me in the past and stopped me from training, but my practice is majority done on my right hand side. And if I go back through all the sets and the reps over the years, there'll be thousands of more reps on this right hand side and less on the left hand side. And you can see that in the quality of my training now. Now, I wish I'd have done a little bit more rehab on this side. I wish I'd done more reps and sets. I'd definitely try and alternate sides. So if you're doing left, right movements, so whether it's fingertips or weight shifts or anything, start with your right side on one set, next set, start with your left side. And just do that, left, right, left, right, left, right. Try and get in the habit of doing that. The more you can do that, the better it's going to be. And if you have anything like me where you have some niggles on one side, then try and work that out and get that shoulder healthy so then you can do the same on both sides. Okay, moving sideways too much. Now, when we balance on a one-arm handstand, yes, we do want to transfer weight. So if I'm transferring to this right leg, I want to transfer weight. So there's going to be movement to this side. But what we don't want is this. So everything moving that side because I'm going to fall that way. So yes, we want to move. So if I'm going to go into my right hand, yes, we want to move towards the right. So I'm going to move in, but we want like this side to push back against it. So we create this like stationary position instead of everything just going to the side. So that's a common one you'll see for beginners is they'll move everything to the side and start just falling out and they'll collapse and they'll do a funny thing where they stick the hips over instead of this like weight transfer that we want to see. They'll do things like this. So understanding that side to side, and that really comes in, works well with the push movement as well. Okay, throwing the hand up, throwing the shoulder up is a real big one, especially when you're trying to show off or get a picture for Instagram or something. We throw that hand up in the air. Now, the issue with throwing the hand up fast is that the shoulder will normally go with you, and also you create momentum. So if I bring this hand slowly up, see how my left shoulder doesn't move? If I throw the hand up, see how the left shoulder lifts and it also twists my torso? You do this in a one-arm handstand and you're spinning out. So not throwing the hand up is a big one. We can lift the hand, we can learn eventually to lift the hand fast, but we keep the shoulder in position. So if I'm on the left arm, one arm, I keep my right shoulder in position. I don't throw it up with the hand. So that's a really common one. Try not to throw that hand up, when, especially when you get to the point where you're just starting to lift off. You want to just be lifting the hand up like it's not connected to the rest of the body. Okay, copying someone 110%. So I think it's really good to find someone that you resonate with, someone who's similar to you, someone who you like, someone who you can have some coaching from, someone you gel with. I think that's really, really important. But trying to make your positions or your body exactly the same as that person is near on impossible. They're going to have different limb lengths, they're going to have different flexibility, different strength, different training history. So it's good to have a method that you follow, but don't try and mimic someone 110%. Okay, changing techniques too often. This is a really common one. Is basically the one arm handstand takes thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of repetitions of the same thing over and over and over again. And if you do that, you'll eventually learn the one arm handstand. The issue with a lot of people do is they get bored or they get impatient and they start to look at lots of different methods. They try and get coaching from lots of different people and expect them to unlock something magic or something special. Um, Most of the time, it's consistency of the same thing over and over and over again that will get you results, not jumping around to different methods. And that takes us on to the next one. So inconsistency is a real big one as well. So people tend to train really well for like a week, and then they'll take 2 weeks off. Then they'll train for a month, and then they'll take 2 months off. Uh, Consistency for the one arm handstand is a big thing. I'd definitely be doing 4 or 5 sessions per week for 2 to 3 years. That's what you're going to look at in terms of consistency to get a one arm handstand. Like, how long does it take someone to get? It's very different for person to person, but consistency is a big one. Everyone who's achieved a one arm handstand has put hours and hours and hours in of just basic training, reps, sets, day in, day out. So, in summary, a good way of looking at it is how you would write down your training for someone else. So, say I'm going to train this guy here and I'm going to tell him what he should be doing. I'm going to train that way because you'll tell him to train good quality. You'll tell him to return to handstand after you've gone to one arm. You'll tell him to return back to his two arm handstand. You'll tell him not to throw the arm up. You'll tell him not to copy someone 110%. They're all the things that if you sat down and you trained someone else, you would tell them. So that's a really good way to do it. So put yourself in the coach's shoes, but definitely have those play sessions. I'm a big fan of that. You want to be playing around, you want to play on the blocks, you want to play on canes, you want to play on different surfaces, you want to go beyond your level just to mess around and play, but try and have your training percentage high. So 60 to 70% of the time, you're doing the quality reps and sets, 20, 30% of the time, you're playing and having fun. Normal deal. Thumbs up and subscribe will be appreciated. Any questions, stick them in the comments below, and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.